Hey everyone, and welcome to the fourth video here with rotaries and jet skis. So this video is a little different. It's a race video. So as I think I said in the first video, my family and I race. Now what I really was referring to there was our Champ Car endurance racing, but this weekend we went and did some racing with SCCA with our 1979 RX7 that's set up for IT7. So this is really the car that kind of got me into cars and got me into racing. I've been working on this car my whole life and probably will continue to work on it. A little preface, the car has been running terrible for years. We've been fighting carburetor issues, fuel system issues, cooling issues, which you'll see in the video we're still fighting, but we made some major improvements. Now, let me tell you, I did a terrible job filming. This was my first time ever filming at a race, and if any of y'all race, you'll know that it can get hectic. And while that is the interesting stuff to film, if you're part of actually working on the car, it's really difficult to say, hey, wait, I know we have to be on track in 5 minutes, but let me grab the camera and start filming. So I didn't do that. Now, I did film bits and pieces, and I will basically make little videos like this or little interjections that I'll put into the video here and there to fill the gap. So that being said, let's get into the video intro that I filmed at the track. For your thing. Hey everyone, welcome to the fourth video of rotaries and jet skis. Don't even know if y'all can hear me, but we're here at Barber for an SCCA race, and this is a time trial session that I'm about to go in. Are in our 79 IT7 car, so it's a 12A spec car. Sorry, my visor falls down a lot. But this is my first time actually driving this car. I normally drive another RX7 we have in an endurance race series. So we're gonna go out here and see how it goes. So I'll see y'all after I get off track. Okay everyone, so I just got off track a little while ago. Car was not doing so hot. Actually, it was getting hot, or at least we thought it was. Oil temp gauge was showing that it was.
What a loser.
I'm gonna have to start that up. I don't know, we'll see how bad it is. So, I just got off track. Car was not doing so great. It was registering that the oil was getting really hot, like 240 degrees kind of hot, when reading it off. That gauge right there, that digital gauge, which is a gauge that is measuring the oil coming out of the motor, and we have this other one off to the side, which is coming out of the cooler. So after my first session, I cut it a little short, came in, and we added this little piece of flashing here to direct more air up to the oil cooler, which is mounted vertically right there. And went back out, and it didn't really seem to change anything. So we're like, well, wait, maybe the gauge isn't working. So we came and we temp gunned the motor and everything. It actually seemed to, oil temp seemed to be fine. But the car was having a bobble issue. It's had it for years on throttle in at high RPM. So we went through, we've been working at this for years. Currently, we've already gone through and put like a spacer on the accelerator pump to hold a little more, and we just put potentially a drilled out squirter for the accelerator pump on the top too. So we'll see how that does. Maybe it'll keep us from bobbling, and hopefully we'll get back out there. My dad goes out next for his qualifying, so hopefully I'll be able to get some film of him out on track. Time for my dad to go out on the track. Probably getting scared. Okay, so we just got back off the track and the car was still bobbling even though we changed out this little squirter down here in the carb. So, what'd you say? You said cheaters?
No.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
You're the one who said cheater.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're cheating, but who cares?
Food?
So,
Scrutinizers apparently.
yeah, they would. But, so now we're going to richen up the carburetor a little bit, primarily the primary. So I will get back to you. I've already started to take the linkage off. We have air kit running to this one, and once I get the carb off, I will probably set the camera up and show you how we change our jets. Okay, so got the top of this carburetor off.
No.
You can see down in there, they're the jets. I just took out a 100 size jet out of that primary. It's the primary. See, these are smaller than those, so you know they're the primary. Take off this bolt right here. You can see right in there to the jet. So now I put a 110 in there to richen it up. So I'm going to go ahead, get them on there, and then get the carb back on the car. Okay, so I just gotten the jets back in that carburetor, and then I put the carburetor back on the car, and we went to start it, and the carb was overflowing like crazy. So that meant that there was some sort of issue with our needle and seat, our float level, something. But you know, that carburetor's had that issue for years. It seems like every time we mess with the carburetor, the bowls are no longer, or the floats are no longer set at the same level. So, we take the top hat off, looking at the needles and seats, and all of a sudden we hear over the loudspeaker that it says, "Hey, TTA, you're under the 5," which that means TTA was my run group. And that means that you should be on grid and you have 5 minutes to get your butt out on the track. So it became a mad scramble to get this car back together. And I said, hey, why don't we take this top hat from another carburetor that I had brought that I knew had float levels that were set properly. And so we mad scramble, took the top hat off this other carb, transferred the fuel rail and the return spring linkage, and slapped that puppy down on the top of that carb, fired it up, and I drove right down to the grid and went right out on the track. So I think I mentioned it earlier in the video, but the whole reason we're doing this work on the carburetor is because it had a terrible bobble, like every time you get in the throttle. So you'd like floor it and the car would just go blah, 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 blah. So we put an AFR gauge in the car, and you could see that it was going lean when you would just mat it. And so that's why I was putting larger jets in the primaries, was so that the difference between the primaries being open and then the secondaries being open, it would not be as big of a difference. So went out there and the bobble was almost gone. Later I'll put in a little clip of it going through a corner. Sadly, I don't have a video of it when it was doing its really bad bobble, but it would bobble for about 2.5 seconds before, and now you'll be able to hear just a little quick boom, and then the car goes. In the car, you can hardly even feel it. Now, granted, there's still a long way to go. It'd be great to get rid of it entirely, but it will probably never fully go away because, honestly, there's an issue. The exhaust is too big, and we're just not going to change that. But overall, I got it running way better. Now I'll throw in maybe 1 or 2 clips of the car out on track. as you can see in those videos, the bobble wasn't that bad because that corner I showed there, that was the worst place on the entire truck. Now, y'all can probably tell where we were racing, because I'm not sure I mentioned that earlier, but we were racing at Barber. You can probably tell by that corner. So, after this, I basically put the camera down altogether. So, my dad had like one more session that day. Car ran really well, and then we didn't really touch the car overnight. My brother ran it the next morning. Car did well. Then the qualifying for my dad the next day went out. The car did like 5 laps and then just died. So, car got towed in, sitting there like ready to come in. I was like, what happened? What happened? He's like, fuel pump's dead. You know, and it was a brand new fuel pump. Just before this race, he entirely redid the fuel system. It has a new fuel mat, Holley fuel pump, filter, everything. It's all new, even new air equipment. So we were kind of getting frustrated that, like, man, this new fuel pump died already. Like, you know, with an hour and a half of run time on it. So I pop the back, I lean in the little box around the fuel cell, and I look in there and I'm like, hey, it's unplugged. It had managed to unplug itself while he was out there. So I plugged it in and said, hey, why don't you hit that fuel pump? Oh, it started right back up. So I went through and I squeezed the connector a little bit, got it tighter, and then did a little trick where if you have like a connector, so let's say that's your connector, if you have another wire next to it, you can wrap if there's another wire with a connector, don't do this right at the connector. Get it to the piece of the wire that's, you know, like actually one wire. Wrap a zip tie around each end of the connector, like crimp it to the other wire. That way it'll keep it from being able to pull apart. Honestly, in my experience, it works better than even wrapping tape around the connectors to keep them from coming apart. But that was the only issue we had on Sunday. Car ran great, and we won. Granted, we're the only IT7 car out there that ran. There was one that showed up, but it didn't run, sadly. But so overall, it was a really successful weekend. And sorry I don't have anything, you know, cool like the car racing or anything here at the end. And also in the future, I'm going to try and get some in-car footage, especially at our Champ Car races. It's a lot easier to film with Champ Car races. We have a lot more people there. I can hand the camera off to somebody and film while I'm working. Because, like I said earlier, I do a lot of the work on the car along with my dad and brother. And when it gets down to, like, you know, the moment you just have a little bit of time, I'm going to put the camera down. I'm going to make it so we get out on track. So, with that being said, thank y'all for watching. I know this video was a little bit different, and in the next video we'll probably get back to either working on Matilda, because I'll have some time this weekend to do that, or maybe I'll even get started on another new project that I got that I haven't told y'all about yet. So at least I think I haven't told y'all about it yet. I don't remember really everything I've said. So maybe we'll get started on that, or who knows, maybe I'll even pick back up with Greg, the 85 RX7. Currently, that carburetor that I worked on in the first video is just sitting in my closet back there, because after I moved, I haven't had a place to really set it up, and then I got the other RX7, and now with school, I've been really busy. So I'm going to try and get back to that pretty soon. I even have some more AFR. I've even filmed part of a video for Greg, the 85 RX7, but I haven't finished that task with it yet. And once I do, I'll finish filming that video and get it posted up here. But with that being said, thank you all for watching this. Hope you like this, and I hope to get some more racing videos out here in the future. Thanks.